Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most confusing pieces of paper a solar homeowner gets, the net metering electricity bill. And I promise, by the end of this, you'll be reading yours like an absolute pro. But first, let me kick things off with a question. What if, instead of you paying the power company every month, they actually paid you? Sounds kind of like a dream, right? Well, with solar panels and just a little bit of know-how, it can be a reality. And it all starts with understanding this bill.
Okay, so let's dive right into our first section. The thing is, the moment you get those solar panels on your roof, your whole relationship with the utility company flips on its head. You're not just a customer anymore.
That's right. You're actually playing a dual role now. Sometimes you're a consumer, pulling power from the grid just like you always have, at night or on a super cloudy day. But other times, you're a producer, your own little power plant, making electricity. And your bill? That's just the scorecard for this new two-way street.
A really simple way to think about it is this. Imagine your home is a small shop. The grid is the wholesaler. Sometimes you need to buy stuff from the wholesaler to stock your shelves. But other times, you have extra stock you don't need, so you sell it back. Your monthly bill just settles the tab between all that buying and selling. So that brings us to Section 2. We're going to get into the two most important words on your entire bill. Import and export. Seriously, if you get these two concepts, you've pretty much unlocked the whole puzzle. First up, we've got grid import. This is probably what you're most familiar with. It's the electricity you pull in from the grid when your panels aren't making enough power, like when the sun's gone down. This is the electricity you buy.
And on the flip side, you've got solar export. Now this is where the magic happens. When your panels are cranking out more power than your house can use, that extra energy doesn't just disappear. It gets sent out to the grid. This is the electricity you sell.
So, let's boil it all down. Grid import is what you buy, solar export is what you sell. That's it. Keep that simple distinction in your head and everything else is going to fall right into place. All right, enough with the theory. Let's get our hands dirty. In this next section, we're going to go on a little scavenger hunt and find these key numbers on a real sample bill from BESCOM, which is the utility in Bangalore. Okay, first things first, we need to find out how much energy was bought from the grid. On this particular bill, you're going to look for the section labeled 15A. It should say Energy Import.
And there it is, right there. We've highlighted it for you. See Section 15A, Energy Import. That number tells you the total units of electricity you pulled from the grid for the entire month. So in this example, the number is 478 units. That means this household purchased a total of 478 units of electricity from BESCOM. Simple enough, right?
Now for the fun part, let's find the solar export. The good news is you don't have to look very far at all. It's conveniently located right next door in Section 15B.
And boom, there it is, Section 15B, Energy Export. This number is the grand total of all that surplus solar energy your system generated and sold back to the grid.
For this customer, that number is 518 units. Now, hold on, take a look at that. They sold 518 units, but they only bought 478. This is where things start to get really interesting.
So, we've got our two big numbers. Now let's move on and see how the utility company takes these units and turns them into the final rupees on your bill. It's time to do a little math.
So the very first thing they do is calculate what's called net energy. It's super simple. They just subtract what you imported from what you exported. So, 518 minus 478 gives us a net export of 40 units. That means this home sent 40 more units to the grid than it took. Now, here is a really crucial detail you have to remember. You don't buy and sell electricity at the same price. It's just like any other market. The utility sells power to you at a retail rate, but it buys your extra power back at a lower wholesale rate. So in our example, they buy at 5.90 rupees, but only sell at 297.
Okay, so the final math happens in three simple steps. First, they take your net export, those 40 units, and multiply it by the selling rate. That gives you an export credit of about 119 rupees. Second, they tack on the standard fixed monthly charges, which is just a base fee for being connected to the grid. Here, it's 1,200 rupees. Finally, they just subtract your credit from those fixed charges.
And that brings us to the final section, the moment we've all been building up to, the big reveal. After all that math, what's the final bottom line? What does this homeowner owe, or what are they owed?
And here it is.
The net amount is negative 1,081.2 rupees. Now, pay very close attention to that minus sign. That little dash right there, it changes everything.
Let me tell you, seeing a negative number on your power bill is an amazing feeling. It's fantastic news. It means that after all the credits and charges were tallied up, you came out on top. The power company actually owes you money for the month. You didn't just get a free bill, you actually earned a credit.
All right, so let's quickly recap the most important things to remember. Your solar bill is all about a two-way flow of energy, buying and selling. The key number is your net energy, the difference between the two. And while there are always fixed charges, if you can export more than you import, your credits can wipe those out, and the utility actually pays you.
And that leaves us with one last really powerful question. Now that you know how to read the scorecard, what are you going to do about it? How can you shift when you run heavy appliances like your washing machine or your water pump to the middle of the day? Use your own solar power first so you can maximize what you sell back to the grid. The power is, quite literally, in your hands.